The concept of election in Christianity often sparks debate. What does it mean? Simply put, election is God's choice. It is his decision about who will be saved. This choice is rooted in his sovereignty. God is in control. He is the ultimate authority. He chooses, not us. This idea can be unsettling. We like to think we have a say in our destiny, but the Bible tells us otherwise. Our salvation rests firmly in God's hands. He is the potter, and we are the clay. He molds us according to his purpose. Think of it like a loving father adopting a child. The father chooses the child. The child does nothing to earn this love. It's an act of pure grace. Similarly, God chooses us for salvation out of his boundless love. This concept might seem unfair at first glance, but as we delve deeper, we begin to see the beauty and depth of God's sovereign election. Romans chapter 9 verse 16 states, "So then it depends not on human will or exertion, but on God who has mercy." This verse cuts to the heart of election. It's not about our effort, our good deeds, or our attempts at righteousness. It's about God's mercy. Our salvation is not a reward, it's a gift, and like any gift, it's given freely by the giver. God, in his infinite mercy, chooses to extend this gift of salvation to those he has elected. Imagine a world where salvation depended on us. We would fail miserably. We are all sinners, flawed and broken. We could never earn our way to God, but God, in his mercy, bridges the gap. He takes the initiative. He chooses us, not because of who we are, but because of who he is, a merciful and loving God. Ephesians chapter 2 verses 1 to 3 paint a stark picture of our spiritual state before salvation. It says, "And you were dead in the trespasses and sins, and were by nature children of wrath, like the rest of mankind." We are dead in our sins. This spiritual death separates us from God. We are unable to choose him, to know him, or to please him. We are completely helpless. Think of a drowning person. They can't save themselves. They need someone to throw them a lifeline. That's our situation before God. We are drowning in sin, unable to rescue ourselves. Election is God's lifeline to us. He reaches down into our helpless state and pulls us out of the depths of our sin. He gives us life when we were dead. He offers hope when we were hopeless. Section 4, the balance of sovereignty and responsibility. A common question arises: if God chooses, what about our free will? How can we be held responsible for our actions? Romans chapter 9 verses 19 to 20 addresses this tension. God tells Moses, "I will have mercy on whom I have mercy, and I will have compassion on whom I have compassion." He is sovereign, yet he also says, why does he still find fault? For who can resist his will? This doesn't mean we are puppets. We have genuine choices. We are responsible for our actions, but it does mean God works within our choices, drawing us to himself. His sovereignty and our responsibility work together in ways we may not fully comprehend. Think of a compass. It always points north, regardless of the direction you face. Similarly, God's sovereign plan guides everything towards his ultimate purpose, even amidst our free will and choices. Section 5. The mercy and sovereignty of God in election. The doctrine of election is not meant to be a source of fear or despair. It's meant to inspire awe and wonder at the depth of God's love. It reminds us that our salvation is not our own doing, but a gift freely given. Understanding election deepens our appreciation for God's mercy. It reminds us that he chooses us not because we are worthy, but because he is merciful. It humbles us, knowing that our salvation rests solely on his grace. Furthermore, it highlights God's sovereignty. He is in control. He is working all things according to his perfect plan. This truth brings comfort, knowing that our lives are not driven by chance, but held firmly in his loving hands. Ultimately, election is a mystery. We may not fully grasp this side of heaven, but it's a glorious truth that points us to the immeasurable love and sovereignty of our God.